Happy Puppet Syndrome. Made by Random Acts of Kindness. Found in www.creepypasta.org web link. It was simple, we thought. Take a few chromosomes, slice them up, put them over there, and hey, perfect human being. I'm still not sure what went wrong. Maybe a miscalculation? A misprocedure? Or maybe something beyond our control. Who knows? We, a few of my psychologist colleagues and I, were intrigued by human emotion. Anger, despair, euphoria. Was it possible to lock the mind into one emotion? To lock it into a euphoric state so that no sadness or anger would cloud its thought? Theoretically, yes. I won't describe the procedures of our experiments to you. Both because I wouldn't want you to repeat them, but also I fear I will go mad if I have to recount them. The terrible things we did. We were ambitious, youthful, nothing could stop us, and no one could tell us we were wrong. All I will tell is that we got a hold of a few stem cells, nurtured them into fetuses, and tampered ever so slightly with the genetics. The experiment was called the Angel Man Project, and the goal was to create a being which felt only happiness. But something went wrong. Terribly wrong. Half of the test subjects died unexpectedly, without warning and without cause. The remaining half were mostly born hideously distorted. 3 were born well. Perfect, we thought. A human with mental capability beyond any other due to its locked euphoric state. They were perfectly normal up to 18 months. That's when the first symptoms appeared. Lack of balance, trouble sleeping and eating, low responsiveness. We all panicked on the inside, of course, but on the outside we remained calm and continued the project. We should have ended there. We should have taken those damned subjects and euthanized them and burned them and closed the lab. But we continued. Things only got worse. The subjects' movements became increasingly sporadic and they still could not utter words, although they could laugh and did so often. Much too often. Not happy laughter, but quiet, almost nervous laughing, nearly constant. No matter how much pain was inflicted on the subject, it merely stared at you and laughed, as if it were mocking you, calling your attempts to harm it futile. We expected the subjects to have extra learning capabilities. Quite the opposite occurred. Their mental development was severely delayed. They couldn't pay attention to something for more than a few minutes before lapsing into a laughing fit. But we continued, hoping that these symptoms would clear up as the children we got older. We gave a name to the symptoms. Happy Puppet Syndrome, because the mindless movements of the children made it seem like they were puppets on strings. 5 years into the project we realized there was no hope. We could no longer stand the incessant laughing of these children, as if they knew something we did not, as if some kind of joke passed between them. To look at a child and to see it twitch sporadically and laugh excessively is a haunting thing. 2 of my colleagues had already quit because they could not stand it. I never heard from them afterwards. They are most likely dead. The children had not talked for 5 years. Only laughed their damned laugh. We went in to give them breakfast and they stared at us with their huge eyes, twitching, giggling, and saying nothing. We laid the meal in front of them and left. The meal was laced with toxins that would silently and painlessly kill the subjects. It was a painful thing to do, but it had to be done. However, it would not be that easy. As a friend of mine set a tray of food down in front of one of the boys, the laughing stopped. The boy looked up at my friend, his eyes suddenly dark, dead serious, the laughing gone. They continued to stare at him and twitch for a while. My friend was in shock and would not move. My colleagues and I stood with pen and notepad ready to take notes. Suddenly, my friend fell to his knees, grasping his head and yelling furiously. He appeared to be in tremendous pain. My colleagues and I were so surprised by this we could do nothing but sit and watch. My friend collapsed to the floor, yelling curses. He jerked violently a few times, and then went limp. I held back the urge to be sick, more successfully than a few of my colleagues. Something about this was not normal. A dark presence seemed to tower over us. We immediately sealed the entrance. The boy stopped, looked at the door, and laughed. He fell to the floor, twitching and rolling about laughing insanely. The two others did the same. After a few minutes the fit ceased, and they stood up, still twitching, still giggling. The lights went out. I heard crashes, glass shattering, screams. The most terrifying thing of all were the haunting whispers, coupled with the quiet laughing. When the lights went back on, the subjects were gone. Two of my colleagues lay unconscious beside me, their bodies twisted at odd angles, blood trickling from their drooping mouths. At first they appeared to be dead. They showed no vital signs. But as I leaned in, I could hear them laughing, ever so slightly. I went over to examine my friend. No pulse, no breathing, but he continued to laugh quietly. Although the subjects had gone, I still felt as if something were watching me, something that was just at the edge of my vision but that I would never be able to see. Me and one remaining colleague closed everything down immediately. Before leaving we destroyed our research and locked and barricaded the lab. I lost communication with my colleagues. I presume they are dead. I still feel like I am watched. I still hear the laughing, the whispering, in my dreams and sometimes when I am awake. When I do, I run. I get up and I leave wherever I am. I'm not able to stay in the same place for more than a few days because of this. It spread. Other children were seen with similar symptoms. I have no idea how it spread. It shouldn't be something that spreads. Somebody somewhere made something up about disjunction of the 15th chromosome, and that kept the people happy and in the dark, for now. The disease was coined Angelman syndrome. So far the spawn are not dangerous. But I know the originals still lurk somewhere. I know they are coming for me. I know they will find me. I accept this. It is what I get for attempting to tamper with nature. I leave this litter here as a warning. They are coming for you, too. They are coming for all of us. If ever you hear whispering, laughing, at the edge of your hearing, run. If ever you feel as if something stands right at the edge of your sight, but you cannot look at it, run. Also, I warn you this. 1. Do not tamper with what is not yours. 2. Even angels can be demons in disguise. And 3. Do not come for me. I am as good as dead. The following manuscript was found in an abandoned and hidden laboratory discovered deep in an Alaskan forest. The laboratory consisted of an observation room and a containment room. The containment room was barricaded and locked, and the entire lab seems to have caught fire at one point. Traces of blood were found after the containment room was breached, and a window was shattered. The exact nature of this lab is yet undiscovered. Who's That? Made by Pasta Boy 57. Found in www.creepypasta.org web link. My basement has never exactly been a welcoming place. It's unfurnished, there's no carpet and the walls consist of boring, exposed bricks. There's a set of old wooden stairs on one end that creaks whenever anyone uses them. Behind the stairs is a storage area that begins about 4 or 5 feet off the ground and goes maybe 15 feet further back underneath the garage. The place is a dump, as my brother never cleans it, and toys and tools and random things are sprawled out across the entire basement floor, and that's an accomplishment considering how huge it is. It's not very wide, but from one end to the other it's at least 80 feet in length, including the storage space. However, it is not easy to see from one end to the other since the water heater, furnace, and other appliances sit conveniently at the bottom of the stairs to make it impossible to carry large objects like the Christmas tree up and downstairs. Anyways, one night we had some friends over. By we, I mean me and my parents. They had a little girl with them, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and since my brother was elsewhere, as usual, I wound up sort of babysitting this girl while the parents chatted over desserts or something. Since the basement had so many toys, I thought it was a good idea to take her downstairs to play. Upstairs was kind of boring for a kid her age. The first thing she did when she got down there was find a large box. We had just replaced our washing machine, so its ginormous box was just sitting in the middle of the basement floor. It was as if I had completely vanished as soon as she crawled into the box. She had entered her own little world, playing house or something. I tuned out for a while to check emails on my iPod while she entertained herself. And then she caught my attention. "Who's that?" she asked. I blinked. "Who's who?" I responded, confused. "That man over there, the man in black," she responded, completely straight-faced. "There's no one there," I told her. "That's because he went upstairs," she told me. At this point I took the girl upstairs and sat with my parents for the rest of the evening, not saying a word about what she said. 2 years later, I had some friends over in mid-February. In Wisconsin, this means that if you were to go outside at night, you would be frozen solid in under 10 minutes. So me and my friends were stuck inside and went downstairs to investigate the haunted basement I told them about, the above story. In fact, there were 5 of us, including me and my cousin. I had a tape recorder to collect audio, my cousin had a digital camera, and the others were armed with flashlights, because they wanted to turn off the lights. Reluctantly. So he pulled the strings to turn off the lights and we sat there in the pitch-black basement, but only for a few seconds. A halogen light bulb began to flicker above my head almost immediately. I reach up to find that it was halfway plugged in, but still a coincidence. I hadn't even turned on the recorder yet. So, I unplug the light and turn on my recorder and tell my cousin to do the same to his camera. It was past 11 o'clock at night, so it was silent. Absolutely silent. Several minutes passed. We even did that thing they do on TV where you just ask questions to whoever or whatever. There wasn't a single response. So, it turned into a bit of a joke. We started making fun of the situation and felt pretty stupid. We laughed for a while. Finally, my cousin's camera gives a low battery warning, so we decide to take the last few minutes seriously. "Okay, I'm going to count down from 3 and then let's have it quiet again," my cousin says. 3, 2, 1. A few silent moments passed. My cousin's camera beeps and shuts off. I turn off my recorder. We go upstairs to listen to the footage, and that was that. Of course, the footage was rather uneventful. We listened to the entire tape, and for the longest time we heard nothing but the sounds of our own voices. Until the end. "Okay, I'm going to count down from 3 and then let's have it quiet again," my cousin says. 3, 2, 1. A few silent moments passed. My cousin's camera beeps and shuts off. But then in the half-second between the camera turning off and the end of the footage is a whisper. "Don't leave." We all stared at each other, petrified. "Who's that?" one of my friends asked. "The man in black," I told him. The Internet is Out. Made by Bob Skeleton. Found in www.creepypasta.org web link. Thursday morning. I awoke to the sounds of a siren blaring down the road. Great, another accident. The traffic was the last thing I wanted in the morning while going to work. Still, I had another hour before heading off, so I started my morning routine of taking a shower and brushing my teeth before heading downstairs for breakfast where I saw my son, Michael, eating cereal before breakfast. I grabbed a bagel and sat down on the couch, grabbing my iPad to read the news. Terrorist leader Amir Hadi has threatened the president. The same old news. Nothing was new about it. All this drama for years between the Middle East and good old America. How long had we been at war? I couldn't remember. Too long, for sure. All these terrorist attacks, and the president just sends in more and more soldiers, feeding a war without end. Pointless as middle school drama, but with more consequences. Whatever, who needs CNN anyways? Flipping on the TV and putting down my iPad, I noticed more sirens flying down my street. Just then I got an email from the school saying the buses would be late. Must be a big wreck. "Hey Michael, your bus is going to be delayed for a bit, okay bud?" "Alright," he replied nonchalantly. I imagined he would probably be playing on his phone, or whatever kids do these days. I left the TV on as I went upstairs to iron my shirt for work. I grabbed a dull blue, matching my mood this fine morning. I headed to the garage to grab the ironing board, before remembering it being in my laundry room. I set it up and left my coffee to heat up. As I steamed the wrinkles out of my clothes, I listened to the TV playing some old, cheesy, comedy show. I heard my wife come downstairs and felt her lips against mine as she gave me a good morning kiss. I loved that woman. Hey, Michael's bus is going to be a bit late today. I guess there's been a wreck and it's holding them up. Okay. Did he get all of his homework done? She asked in a pressing tone. I think so. You hear that, bud? I called out. Yeah, it didn't take very long, he muttered. I glanced back at my coffee, seeing the green light come on. I went upstairs to get dressed and came back down a minute later to kill some time on the TV before I headed off. After 3 minutes or so I changed to Fox News to see the status of the wreck. My heart skipped a beat. The video showed reports of worldwide chaos, with screaming crazed destruction everywhere. The terrorist group had set off nuclear warfare, World War III. It was happening, here and now. I felt a wave of panic go off as the feed showed mushroom clouds, rising high above the city, burning everything around it. The channel showed signs of interference, and I heard my son call out from the second floor landing. Hey Dad, the internet's out. You guys wonder where I find these creepypasta stories? The link is in the description below. If you enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. And as well share this video to your friends. Thank you.